Hi, Amy here, and welcome to another episode of The Crate Outdoors. Though instead of streaming, this one is going to be pre-recorded, edited together nicely, and I'll have to highlight it sometime later on. I've talked about my medieval camping before. I've shown some of my medieval camping gear on my stream, and now I'm live on location for a medieval camping event. I'm in the great state of Maine with an organization called the Society for Creative Anachronism. We just call it the SCA, but if you want to simplify it, it's the Medieval Club. After a 6-hour drive and a stay overnight with some friends, our campsite has finally opened and we've unpacked. You can see in the background, we've got a big pile of gear. It's car camping, and because it's medieval style, everything weighs a little bit more and takes up a bit more space. And my job now is to set up my site, tuck my stuff away, and maybe think about making some food later on. But I got lots of time, so I'm going to film some of the process. Before I get started setting up my tent, if you look in the background, there's my buddy Lloyd, and he's got his canvas tarp out, and he's going to do an A-frame pitch, kind of open on both ends. Mine's going to be a little different. It's still sort of a triangle shape so that the water runs off. And mine isn't going to have as big of a footprint. There's not going to be as much room underneath, but I don't need a ton of room. And the pitch that I usually do gives me a bit of a door, a little bit more privacy, and I go to bed early, so it's the one that I quite prefer. Just anecdotally, I have a feeling that it might be a little bit warmer too, being more closed off. Just the body heat generated and the heat from breathing might keep a little more heat trapped inside the tent with me. So that's my preference, and you'll see how I do it. I'll explain a little bit what I'm looking for to start with. I don't bring any poles with me. The pitch that I do requires me to find a couple of big, long, sturdy poles, and I think the ones I used last year are still here, leaning up against the tree, right here. I'll tilt up. And I want something about 9 or 10 feet long, and only 2 poles are going to hold this up, and I'll get a little ways into the pitch, and then I'll show you sort of the mechanics of it. It's really quite neat. It's all about tension and tightness, and that's what's going to keep any of the elements off and keep it upright so it doesn't fall on my head in the middle of the night. Oh. 10 pigs, twine, and if you followed along on one of my streams, I did some quick waterproofing treatment on my canvas tarp. There we go. Here we are. This is a 9 by 12 cotton painter's drop cloth. Picked up really, really cheaply at like a Home Depot. And then all I have to do to make it convenient for camping is sew a bunch of tie-out points on it. To do this right, we've got the 12-foot length going this way, and I think an 8 or 9-foot length going this way. We'll get some eggs. It's gonna look something like this. So, peg again. I need to peg again. Always be pegging. Oh my gosh, it is.
Not that I know anything about that.
Hey, all right, we had some technical difficulties with the camera that I will be fixing in a little while. In the meantime, I've got you back on my selfie stick, and I've got my tent pretty much set up, and I'll give you a little tour of my abode for the next 3 nights. So, there she is in the background, right there. That's me. That's Shea Crate. And if I bring you around to the back, we got lots of people setting up now. If I bring you to the back, let me see if I can flip camera while I'm recording. No, I can't. Not this time. Okay, I'm gonna flip camera, and then I'm gonna tell you some more stuff about my setup. Okay, welcome back. All right, so the first step is along the back, starting in the center and then pulling out to the next adjacent tie-out points. I peg it down to the ground, nice and tight, always nice and tight. There's going to be a bit of give. Here we go. See? There's going to be a bit of give, but at nighttime, when the moisture in the air comes up, the dew will actually tighten up the canvas substantially. It's also not calling for rain, so I want everything tight so it doesn't fall on me, but I don't have to worry as much about weather conditions on this trip. But the same tent setup I did last year lasted through a fairly significant day of rain and kept all my stuff nice and dry. So here's the back view. So once you've pegged down the back end, as it were, you get your 2 poles and you pull your tarp up tight and figure out the right point to cross the mat, and I've lashed them together, and then you pull the whole thing up, and at that point it won't quite stay up on its own. What you need, the key to this whole operation, is this additional tie-out point right here, and it goes way back there, and it creates a nice amount of tension to hold this upright. And then the sides get pegged out and pulled tight, and pegged out and pulled tight. And then what I like to do, my poles, I usually try to get them quite close to these tie-out points, so I can just do something like that. Anything that pulls it out and makes every surface tighter is good. If it did rain, I might want to pay more attention to down here and make sure that these are folded under, because right now they would catch water here, but it would go downwards. And as long as I don't have things along the edge of my tarp setup, I'd be just fine. And finally, the last tie-outs that I do are here at the side, again, just to pull everything nice and taut and to give myself a little more room on the inside. This one isn't tied out yet. I'm going to tie it actually to my neighbor right there, and you can see, if I try to give you a view inside, we can see that's pretty spacious on that side. This side slopes in a little bit, so just to be less claustrophobic, I'll pull that out, and that's it. And you can see right now I have the door somewhat open so that I can get in and out fairly easily. I can squeeze in there, and I'll be putting my stuff in. But at night, I could always pull these pegs down here and close it off over my head. If we look inside, a couple corners have been folded under, not for any practical purpose. It just keeps them out of the way, and it gives me a dry spot if I want to put anything down on the floor of my tent setup. You can see it doesn't have a floor, and I guess I'll be covering that in just a few minutes, because I'm gonna go get my bedding and set up my bed in here. Step 1, wool blanket. Step 2, sleeping pad. Step 3, another wool blanket. Somewhat to cover up my modern sleeping pad, but it also is going to provide a little bit of an insulation layer between the sleeping pad and myself, because the sleeping pad will take on the ambient temperature of the ground. Even though I have another wool blanket underneath for another layer of insulation, I just like to keep myself away from the sleep pad and be extra toasty warm. Step 4, my sleeping bag. Now, last year, I had a different setup. I had a single size summer sleeping bag stuffed inside a double size, sort of like summer family camping sleeping bag. All together, it was 15 pounds of sleeping bag, and it was great because it kept me warm, and it was great because I didn't have money to upgrade. But this year, I did have money, so I've upgraded to a lovely sleeping bag. Just picked it up yesterday. Tag was still on it. The Marmot Trestle Elite 30. Supposed to go down to -1, which I'm not going to need tonight. It's only going to be at the freezing mark tonight. And I think I'll be plenty warm in this, snug as a bug. It's got a hood, and you get all in there like a cocoon, snug it up, and sleep like a baby. Step 5, another wool blanket, because why not? I brought 3. This one on top will hide my modern sleeping bag, just so my setup looks nice. It's something I want to take pride in. And additionally, it keeps it covered up so I don't get any debris on it while I'm coming in and out of my tent. And also, when we have a fire going tonight, if I start to get chilly, I can grab it, wrap it around myself like a cloak, and by the end of the weekend, it'll smell like smoke and it'll be fabulous. And one last thing, because I'm a cupcake, a pillow. And that's it. That's my entire sleeping setup while I'm here for the 3 nights. So I'll be under this tent, sleeping on this multi-layered sleep system. And you can see how going from a modern camping setup to a medieval camping setup means that what you pack in is going to be a little bit larger and a little bit heavier. If I was doing a modern camping setup, I could get a tent that was not made of canvas. I could get a synthetic tent that packed down into something I could throw into a backpack. And the same goes for the wool blankets. I wouldn't bring a lot of wool blankets on a normal modern camping trip or a backpack camping trip. I would have maybe my pillow, my sleeping pad, my sleeping bag, and a tarp to sleep under, maybe a hammock or just a modern tent. And that would be my shelter and my sleep for the entire trip. Now I just need to get moving and unpack my gear and kind of find places for my food, get out my costume, and get changed. And I also have to fix that technical problem. So hopefully the production quality on the rest of my videos will be a little bit higher. It's going to be a great weekend. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of stuff, not just my stuff. I'm going to be going around and showing you some of the other camping setups that are much fancier than mine. I try to keep it small and simple and portray some of the lower classes, but we got some pretty fancy camping setups here, and I think you're going to like them. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got my gear kind of sorted a little bit, and the inside of my tent is pretty packed, but I'll try to explain what's in here, and you'll see that some of it is not necessary at all. It's just some of it's frivolous. So starting in the back, I have a gray plastic bag. It's got a bunch of fabric in it because I might be working on some projects. We did some shopping before we came, and I found a really nice 3-yard piece of wool that I might try to turn into a poncho while I'm here. And I've brought some linen with me that I might make into some pants. Second, I've got my little sack of holding. It's got some miscellaneous camp stuff in it. Some of my food items. Over here, my basket has my bottle of wine on the top, has a sewing kit, and it has my the costumes that I'm not going to wear today. It's got my overnight clothes, and I guess like my second outfit. I have one outfit for today and another one, but I have some mending to do before I can even wear that. Just some groceries I picked up yesterday, just basic stuff, bread. I've got some bacon. I got lots of bacon because I'm going to share some tomorrow. We've got mushrooms and apples and olives and a box of Pop-Tarts. That's just kind of something I always like to have camping. It's my indulgence. Right next to my door, I have my feast gear. So this is my table setting, because when we eat, we have to bring our own stuff to eat off of, even if there's like a feast or a potluck or something to attend. So I've got a big long plate, a bowl. I've got 2 cups, so I could put booze in one and water in another. Just a spoon and a knife, no forks, which is traditionally period, though plenty of people allow themselves forks for the purposes of eating efficiently. Okay, back there we've got a little igloo cooler with a couple of things in it, but a lot of what we brought was, even for food, was non-perishable and can survive a couple of nights, especially at the temperatures we're at. And then another thing taking up a lot of space in my tent this time around is a couple of bags of camping gear. This blue bag is just garbage. And finally, again, right by the door so I can grab it quickly, I stick my 2 jugs of water so I can stay hydrated while I'm out here. There's no water on site, so it's pack in, pack out. All right, so that's stuff. This is it. This is my home, away from home. Stay complete. Oh, I guess there's something on the outside I didn't show you guys. Up here, I've got, oh, let's back up. Just hanging off the top, I've got a lantern. It's nice and old-timey looking, but on the inside, I've got some LED camping lanterns. I've got a couple of pieces of leather that I'm going to braid together for a project. And my little hatchet, in case I need to do any wood prep. Oh, and over here, this is my banner. Big long banner. I made that a couple of years ago. It's applique. You just kind of cut the pieces out and stick them on and stitch around with a little blanket stitch. It has a bit of a meaning. So this one, this top piece, this sort of shield shape with the 3 wavy lines and the laurel wreath, that symbolizes the area that I'm from, my local club, if you will. And beneath that is well, there's a real hunter's horn, and then there's an actual applique hunter's horn, and that's the symbol of the group that I play with. Inside of the SCA, there's like a subgroup. We call ourselves the Foresters. So that's our symbol. So when you look at this banner, you know that the Foresters of Lyndhaven, which is where I'm from, my local club, the Foresters of Lyndhaven, are present, and you know that I'm here. So it's kind of a signal to other people to know who's at the site. This is Seth, and he's going to start fire.
I am the fire master.
Really? Because didn't you try to burn a forest down once, Seth?
No, that was my dad.
Marking this site off a little bit.
Seth's already in his costume. We call it garb. It's I'm sorry, but I'm explaining this to like Muggle people. Yes, we call it garb, and as you can see, people get very upset when you call it a costume.
Well, because it's not a costume.
It's a costume. It's cosplay.
Creepy.
But I set it up around my campsite one time. The idea being like, enter the campsite, but not through areas where
The
McGuy
key to
lines are.
fire building is being prepared and not
Everybody in
doing
the
it
SCA took
half-assed.
it as don't come in here
You
at all.
always want to be prepared when shit hits the fan.
Be prepared when shit hits the fan. So, how could shit hit the fan right now with this fire?
If it starts raining, typically you want a little a little overhang if it gets cloudy, but it's not really cloudy right now.
Not cloudy. And we're lucky that we don't need like a...
And this
will be along.
this pine tree is giving us a little bit of canopy, which I love.
We're not going to get any rain. And we don't have to divine, we don't have to pull the guts out of an animal and do any weird like witchcraft to find that out. I just Googled it.
Well, yeah, but
In the morning.
Google isn't always right. You always just want to read the clouds and read the
I mostly brought the stuff to make a couple of cups of coffee.
other shit.
You're very wise for your age.
You know,
Thank you.
guys gotta take care of his
No, I mean,
addiction.
I've just lived in the woods, and
I mean, like I have some.
when it rains, it pours.
Tell
So,
barometric pressure just by the pores on your skin and how they
yes,
interact.
like I'm getting some zits. I think it's gonna rain tonight.
Once you get arthritis like me, you'll be able to.
All right, so what are you starting your first little like spark with? Tell the people.
Okay, people, I'm starting it with a ferrule
I do.
rod.
I like that idea.
That is a ferroconium or ferrocinium rod, depending on what side of the pond you're on.
This place over there.
Okay.
Well, this way I'm closer to him in
grind
case
up
I need
a
to
little
crawl
bit.
in with his wood stove. No, he's got a
Problem
wood
with this
stove.
stuff is if you
I got a wood stove that goes. I got
strike it off too fast, it'll just flare up, and I really don't
Well,
want that.
maybe one of
right
these days when the hunt is decided it's
good.
going to be really cold. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like today.
Yeah, it always seems to have a bit of a layer on the outside that doesn't do anything for you.
now. No, this is this whole core and the outside is made out of
Come over here.
magnesium.
I think, you know,
I always find the first bit won't really spark up very good though.
Actually, the first bit is the best bit.
Ah.
I thought magnesium was gray. Is that magnesium?
I think it's a mix. Like ferrocinium is a mix of
Okay.
one and the other, but
Just no
we can propagate misinformation on my channel. It's not a big deal.
welders.
Oh, that was a nice spark. You see that flash? And those are like hot sparks. Those will get up to like 1,000 degrees or something.
More than that, way more.
Let's put it up here.
You're right. I just needed somewhere to like put it, so there we go.
And what are you throwing them onto?
This little piece of I forget what it is, pitch that I collected.
Uh-huh.
Damn it. The problem with this stuff, if you do it just wrong, it'll
You burn it all up before you can make use of it.
lap it up with this.
bringing the baby.
Ah, did y'all catch that?
Just that in the right.
Well, but I want
Him?
to make some
Her?
more just in
Her.
case.
Her. Okay, her. At that age, that almost doesn't matter. Yeah. Cool.
So this would be a, I believe, 19th, 20th century fire starting method. They had magnesium starters earlier on, but the ferrocinium specifically is a bit more of a modern invention.
I'm going to say World War II era.
Yeah.
But hell, they might have had it in the Victorian era. I don't know.
The great thing is we can fact check this and come back and put little subtitles in and create facts.
Are we live streaming or are we podcast?
This is pre-recorded. I don't have signal down here to do live streaming, but normally my show would be live streamed.
Okay, because I was going to say, boy, if you got signal, you're
Yeah, if you can get one thin enough, that'd be great.
No, I asked the question if the signal down here got any better. Because that would have been awesome. I would have been super popular then. But this way I can pre-record, and if anybody doesn't like being on camera, I can cut them out and edit. And
more like, are your viewers going to want to watch and listen to the annex of and the vocabulary of the folks that you're...
you'd be fun. When I do a live stream, like, it's great because they can interact. And they, yeah, like, they're super keen to see this stuff.
They get that bored, eh? Okay, I don't think I'm going to clothesline anybody up there. you could, but I think you have to try harder. Yeah, I could. Somebody's a tall basketball player. I
want to show you a little trick.
All right, go ahead.
A little trick that I use. Okay. I just take a piece of birch bark like this, and then with this part,
Scrape it off.
fluff it up like so.
Sometimes.
And then
If
I'm
you need
left-handed,
extra
so
poles,
I have
you
to
know
do
what the
this
deal
back.
is. Thanks, I brought a couple.
And I just go.
It's working so well.
How many foresters does it take to start a fire? To get a spark?
You really want the actual.
You got it?
Ah, shit.
Okay.
Coal went out.
Your ferro rod's too small, you know.
You don't think doing it on a metal lid is sucking some of the heat out of it?
Yeah, but okay, yeah, I got it. There you go. There's the fireworks.
Yeah, that's right. Clovis and Blackfin will probably want to be camping in here, but that's somewhere nearby too. But there's still plenty of room back in here.
That's a little trick, you know.
That is way helpful. I'm gonna do that next time.
I mean, having your
Having your fuel actually ready.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to build a small fire. I didn't want to build a giant one. But I guess we're gonna build a giant one.
Eh.
we're gonna get some coals in there. And then
Oh,
we
you
can have
better get
whatever
your
size we
striker out of there before it,
want. He'll learn.
yeah.
We'll figure that out.
He learned a few things that way on the major challenge.
Actually,
But he learned. That was the key thing. Is that he did learn.
So next time we do this,
I'm gonna do
we'll
that.
build a log cabin and burn it down.
Yeah, all right. Well, I wanted to go with the teepee because it takes less time.
Let me give you a camp tour now that we got fire going and we're pretty much set up. I'll show you Lloyd's stuff. He's got his kit kind of hanging up to air out. Most of it is just garb, wool blanket. He's got a nice little lantern here. We can demo that later. But candle goes on the inside, and it's got a little thing that lifts the candle up so you can light it and blow it out. And it's just got a little screen around the outside to make it pretty and make it so the light isn't so bright and keep the wind from blowing the flame out. And Lloyd's little sleeping space, Lloyd's little stuff, Lloyd's stuff in his box. We got socks, boots, tools, knives. We have a couple of different costrels. This is similar to mine. We made ours at the same time last year, but he's got his cork in and he's got his strap finished, so I need to get caught up to him. He's got a second one down here in a different shape, different build, heavy duty, really nice. We got a couple of the hunting horns down here. This is a very official one, the Horn of the East, but individually, it's something I haven't done yet, but individually, we'll all be, a forester generally wants to make these horns, because if we're ever out doing a camping event, we can use them to communicate from distances. And they sound really cool when you know how to blow them right. We got our fire coming up. This is Lloyd's little fireplace set up too. He had this custom welded.
Low, it's out of the wind.
Well, don't say that.
That seems like a much.
Start selling them for $200, right?
Well, no, it's just like it makes it
I'm not
less,
playing entertain inside the
period.
I'm never that.
Well, you think he pulled it up out of a sunken ship?
No, I mean, because technically, I think they riveted crap back then. And they didn't have a little welder, so.
Well, I see some rivets in it.
Are you talking about medieval welding techniques?
Was it made from like any period?
Based on a
designs?
Pompeii stove, which is first century
There's also
Roman.
limited.
Well, if they made it in the 1st century, you can kind of bring it forward.
It's in a candle.
Well, it is what it is. It's
Pretty cool.
It's like anything else we do in the SCA. But the original ones didn't have a bottom in them. And because we don't want to burn down Maine, we put a bottom in it. We don't own the property, so
Now, I'll give you a close-up, and you see these little buddies here. They slide up and around. And you can use those to hold up your pot.
Yeah, and these two, three, two.
Haha, voila. And we will be cooking on this. This is what we're going to be heating our food up on. We got a pie planned, and we got a stew planned. I got some bacon to fry up for breakfast.
Whoa, bacon.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could touch it, man.
It's going to be a good time. I'm going to go get my costume on now, guys, and I'll be back.
Oh.
So I'll see you on the next segment of this show. And I'm back, and I'm in my costume now. Just wearing a simple brown dress, a skinny little leather belt. I've got my knife on my side over here. I've got my hood on, and for now I've just put my hair in a basic braid. I really should have my hair covered if I'm going to be proper. But look at who we're talking about, right? I got my shoes on too, but I can't seem to get a good shot of them. We can look at those later. I did a bit of cleanup of my shoes on my stream, so if you want to go back in my vids, you can see me doing that and talking about my shoes a little bit more. Everything that I'm wearing pretty much, except the knife and the shoes, I've made myself or I've had someone make for me. Lloyd, who you saw earlier, and you'll see more in my videos, made my belt. And this is all hand sewn linen. This one's wool for warmth. I've done fancy little details in it here and there, and it's super comfortable. The only thing I don't like about this is getting in and out of my tent, because when I have to crouch down and crawl, I get all tangled up in the long skirt, so it's kind of an ass pain sometimes. Here's the Forester encampment right now as it stands. We still have a nice fire going, and we have 5 tents set up. And so I'll show you some of the ones that we haven't looked at yet. Over here, we've got the head of our little subgroup. I just ran into a rope, and that's going to happen a lot.
Will they float?
They float? Oh, good. I'm going to show you guys later. Bill over here built some coracles, which are like circular, funny-looking little like bathtub boats. Oh, and they're so neat. They're kind of like, well, they're just like a basket, and then you put, like a skin over top, and apparently they float. So we're gonna have races and do all kinds of fun stuff with those. That's later. So this is the teaser. Don't fast forward though. This is good stuff. Got some camp setups here, so you can see we're all using pretty much the same kind of canvas tarp. Usually 9x10 painter's drop cloth with attachment points sewn on. But there's a lot of different ways that you can do your pitch, as it's called. Let me get under here so that we don't have too much glare. This guy, Seamus, kind of heading up our group right now, and you can see his is very open, which is going to be perfect for this weather. There's no need to worry too much about the rain. It would keep the rain and any falling leaves and falling squirrels off of his head if he so needed. He's got some wonderful, wonderful accessories in here that just make it look so cozy. Lovely baskets and boxes that he's handcrafted, and he can tuck his modern things away in those and keep his campsite looking really, really slick. This is kind of next level stuff that I hope I can get to this level sometime. And we've got another guy over here. I really like this pitch. This one I'm going to show you. Haven't seen this one yet. And so we'll look over it in detail, but this is sort of a trapezoidal, same 9x12 tarp that the rest of us are using, just set up in a different way. Nice and tight and high, kind of tied up to the tree over there. He's got a nice big throw that he can put down if he wants a tiny little bit of privacy. It's got lots of space for sleeping, and it's nice and tall. So you don't have, I guess this would be good if you're a bit clumsy. And he's got his bedding all covered up, again, hiding anything that might be modern in there. He's got a lovely little chest to tuck his things away in. And I just love the space in this one. This is just so slick. And I think this would be really quite good at shedding water too. It's nice and tall, and it would bring all of your rain sort of down to the back here. You could really plan out your placement. I think that would be super duper. Let me see if I can get a good shot of the back of it here. Let's see if we can find where the corners are. Find out how this was set up and which way is which. I'm going to come right back with the camera facing the other way. Okay. I have flipped the camera. I'm trying to find the center line. All right, but here's a corner. So we get a corner up on the tree. And then I'm trying to, okay, so this looks like, this side looks like one of the 9-foot sides. So if we come around on this angle, if we put one corner up on the tree and pull another corner tight here, that's probably how we get it started. And then come along, 1, 2, 3. Is this the corner? Oh, no, this is not the corner. This is almost the corner on the 12-foot side of his tarp. So peg that out. And then the corner must be underneath, folded in underneath. And so this, I think, would be another one of the 9-foot sides. Maybe this is like a corner. Oh yeah, this is a corner. See, you can see the edge there and the edge up here. So a corner down on the ground and a corner up in the tree. And almost the corner here. And it builds this lovely sort of trapezoidal shape with a really great opening in the front. That's really, really cool. And I'm gonna wanna try that. So I might have to drag my tarp out on one of my live streams and set that up and sit under that sometime with you guys. Wouldn't that be slick? We're gonna go to one of the bigger tents now. Don't mind Lloyd, he's getting dressed. Everybody's getting in their garb, going in their time machines. I'm gonna show the tent if that's okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just so we can see how all the different people use the different setups. This is big. We gotta back up for this one. Yeah, we got 2 people staying in this one.
Yeah, it's way bigger than we need. The family of 5 can stay in this thing.
So this is a semi-period. I mean, it's, you know, it's got a good look to it.
Right.
And, you know, it took 2 people to set up, but was pretty easy.
Sets up quickly. Yep.
I think it has one support pole down the center.
One single pole, yeah.
We'll sneak in there if it's okay
Sure.
and take a look, but that's a pretty handsome setup. Not quite, it's big enough that you could be glamping in it,
Oh, totally.
as they say.
Yeah, huge.
But these guys are just roughing it. See, center pole all the way up, pegs around the outside. This one's got nice windows built in, and yeah, look at the space. This is like a giant, like boardroom size tent.
You make it in a 13. I've actually considered trying to find someone to trade with a 13. We use this for regular camping as well. So we would do a bunch of, you know, modern camping with it.
Like
And a
car camping?
Family of 4, yeah. And a
Because it
family-
must take up a bunch of space.
Yeah, you could canoe camp with it, but it's pretty heavy. But
Yeah.
car camping is great.
Yeah, and you got, oh yeah, you're setting up for a class tomorrow.
Yeah,
so you
I
got
had to
your
bring
burners.
the modern cooker for the class.
Yeah, because he's got a boil. You guys remember seeing my Castrol, and I showed you Lloyd's probably earlier in the video. He's going to be doing a class on those tomorrow, and we're going to sneak in and take a look at the materials and some of the processes involved, so you guys can see that sort of step by step. And one of the steps is going to be, well, not really boiling, but certainly
Just
melting
brewer's pitch and
melting
wax.
up the pitch and wax, and that's going to be done on those burners. And then yeah, just tables, and chests, and normal stuff. And these, we'll show you these sometime too. Got to start making these little containers. Check this out. Birch bark and a little bit of basswood carved for the top and bottom. And oh, there it is. Look at how the seam is put together. Isn't that just neat? So cool. So we might get a closer look at those sometime too. I'm going to pick up the book and some of the tutorials that he's used to do these, and I'm going to have a try at this sometime. All right, I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, I'll show you something else that's cool, and I don't know what it's going to be, but stay tuned. Sausage time! Somebody's got a camp with some sausages for sale. I got my $5 American, and I'm gonna get me some food. Dinner bell. Ding-a-ling.
Oh, you are looking particularly rustic and...
Be right back with the sausage report. All right.
No, I'll get it for you.
I'm reporting from the sausage party. There's beans too, but I'm not getting beans. I gotta go get a bun. Oh, hang on. It's bun time. Which one's brioche? Oh, but they're tiny.
They are.
Okay, no, I want one that's gonna encompass the totality of the sausage. Could you split it for me?
It already is.
Oh, look at that. That's the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, great, you're so funny.
All right.
Okay, we're all paid up. Can I butt in line?
They may have touched the onions. Is that going to be?
Onions. Well, no.
I try to.
You said allergic, so.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
that
try
made us
to
nervous.
keep
Oh,
a.
what?
No, I don't.
Gonna die or scratchy throat?
Look at the
Well,
sausages.
I try to build up a tolerance so that I can make fun of the SCA gluten-free people.
Wow. Okay.
All right. What are we?
Loaded.
Loaded.
Thank you.
Cheese
Just peppers on mine.
Just peppers, onions.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a plate.
No cheese, no nothing.
They got goopy sauce.
Okay.
You're not in control of that at the moment.
Well, I'm not sure at all, but you know.
It does look like
Thank
a fire
you.
now.
It hasn't. It just it looks that way. It's
Okay.
very slow.
Okay. Where's your mom?
I would really enjoy cooking eggs on this grill.
All right. What are we gonna figure?
Fully loaded.
You want a plate?
I've got a plate
Okay.
to go here. Yep.
You want beans there, Izzy?
Yes.
Okay.
And a stick of meat.
What's the white stuff?
There you go.
Savory toasted cheese.
Savory toast. Yep.
With pork beans and so
Oh,
There you go.
And then
What
I'll
do you
get
got,
it.
Izzy?
I got a plain sausage.
The plain sausage?
cheesy sausage. I
You
can
want
put
cheese?
some of this on it.
I can't eat cheese.
This might be a vegetable.
That's
so
so slow.
sad, and I
Is that
understand.
extra?
It makes
Yes,
my
yes.
body.
Okay,
go
sorry.
down.
No, I just have a sausage. I just have meat. No vegetables for crate.
Why don't we put this?
Oh, no! Oh, no, it's okay. Oh, I gotta stop filming so I can eat my sausage and not ruin my life. All right, pie's happening.
Pie is happening.
Not until I get it level, it isn't.
I think it's fine. Y'all need
It's crumble pie.
iron hook there, buddy.
Don't need a cast iron. I have a
I'm just saying it would be easier.
Yeah, when I have some coals, I can start to cook.
Hey, good morning. It's the next day. Quiet morning in the Foresters encampment. I had a good sleep, fairly good sleep. It was chilly. My sleep solution held out pretty well. And about the middle of the night, I grabbed some wool that I had on hand. I threw it on my feet, and that took care of everything. That was the only thing that got a little chilly last night. I was tucked in like a mummy. I kept my hat on, and I've got this nice thick fleecy tunic, and underneath I cheat and I use some modern merino underlayer, and yep, that was a nice sleep. I think the last thing we saw was putting the pie on the fire. Unfortunately, we put it on at like 5 o'clock, and it gets dark around 7:30, and the pie wasn't done until maybe 8. It's a good slow, 3-hour cook, because everything went into the pie raw. So, and I can't show you any leftovers because there weren't any, but I can show you the setup a little. So I'm gonna flip the camera and I'll show you the Dutch oven that we cooked the pie in, and I'll talk about a little cooking project I'm gonna start now. My guts are a little bit rotten this morning. I don't have much of an appetite, but I thought I'd do a little something and show you guys, and I'm going to keep the fire going here for a bit if I can, and then there's going to be some activities to show later. All right, first, the pie. I'll show you our pie setup. So here's the Dutch oven. Here's our little first century stove with our fire going, and this is the Dutch oven that we cooked the pie in last night. And if you take the lid off, you'll see underneath this, it's a little stuck in there right now, but underneath the pie plate, there's just a little bit of a spacer, just an inch or so high, that keeps it off of the very bottom. And you sort of put the spacer in, you construct your pie in the pie plate, just raw everything, raw dough and raw meat and veg. The one that we did last night was pork, chopped up cubed pork with pears and dried cranberries and some butter and a bit of sage, and that was it, and it turned out amazing. Definitely a 9.5 out of 10 on that pie, and it went quickly. But as I said, you want to get your fire burnt down to coals, and eventually set the pot right on the coals and shovel a few of the coals on the top and let it cook slowly. It took about 3.5 hours all told to go from raw material to pie, and it took about 5 minutes to eat it. So there's a little campfire cooking for you, and now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I don't think I'll be able to demonstrate live, but I'll explain the steps that I'm going to go through. So I've got a pipkin. This is a pipkin. It's just an earthenware pot, and I bet you could find them in junk shops really easily, because this one was in a junk shop for $4. And the characteristics that you look for, because some of them you'll find like onion soup bowls, and they're not as functional. If it's got a nice little hole here and a hole in the top of the lid, and the lid's, you know, everything's together, no cracks or anything, pick that up for yourself, because this is a nice little unit for cooking all kinds of stuff. What I'm going to do is, we got a little bit of extra garlic, because we've got a stew going too, by the way, in that other Dutch oven. It's just a campfire stew. It's only 9 in the morning, but we start the stew and we let it cook until lunch. We eat a little bit, and then we put more stuff in, cook it until supper, and eat a little bit more. Just keep adding to it. So that's simmering. In the meanwhile, I thought I would use some of the extra garlic and just roast it up in this. So I'm gonna peel just the outside layer, but keep the bulb together as much as I can. I'm gonna slice the top off just about here, and then I'm gonna drown it in some of this. This is just basic oil. I didn't want to bring olive oil because it's so cold. It could have solidified a bit. So this is just a basic vegetable oil. That's just gonna go in the pot. I'm gonna find a not very hot spot to put it at first, because with the earthenware, you want to warm it up gradually or it will crack or shatter, and that would be bad time. And I've got a nice little stick. You see the handle on it is not very long, so I've just made a nice little stick so I can get it in and out. And that's my project right now with my rotten guts, and while everybody is still waking up and doing their morning routine. So I'll report back on the stew later. I'll report back on the garlic later. Excuse me. And maybe we'll do some tours of some of the other camps and show you some of the other neat stuff that people make and do in the Society for Creative Anachronism. All right. And we're on a boat. Actually, specifically, we are on coracles, and I'm with the man who has built these. And we're just going to ask him a couple of questions and learn a little bit of history in the meantime. So, coracles, what place and time are they from? When do we see them?
Well, coracles, historically, they've been in a lot of different cultures, and they're still in use today in Thailand, India. These are Welsh design coracles, and they go pre-medieval period. The Romans used them. Caesar saw designs of this shape and used them when he invaded into Northern Europe and England. Right now, there's kind of a resurgence in Wales. It's kind of the national thing to them. It would be like a birch bark canoe to Americans or Canadians. So there's a resurgence in Wales and England for coracle building.
Oh wow! And what kind of uses did they have throughout history?
Medieval use would have been fishing, tending eel pots. We've got a lot of written record on Welsh coracles where they would net. If we were set up like this, we would have a net between us. We would each be sculling. You would drift out. We'd be fishing down a river. These were designed basically to run rivers, and they would have a little strap here. You could carry it like a backpack. So you'd run to stretch a river, hop out, run back up, or take it with you.
Very, very, very cool. So, what possessed you to build some for yourself?
Well, one of the guys that talked about building a currig, which, if you're Irish watching this, they would call this a currig. So English call it a coracle. Currig, in my learning, is a much longer, bigger boat. And one of our guys wanted to build a currig, and it sounded like a great idea, and he got a little headway on it. And I was like, that's a lot to bite off. These are pretty easy to build. They're well within my scope or average person's scope of woodworking skills. And that way we can kind of we'll build these, play with them some, and maybe expand this and build something bigger, build a currig, a regular boat size.
So describe the materials in the process a little bit. They're slightly different in these boats. Like this one is a little bit smaller,
Right.
And it seems to have more weave. Like
Yep.
I'm basically sitting in a woven basket, and there's like a cotton fabric on the outside.
Yep, it's canvas. Yep. So
Oh,
this
okay.
traditionally medieval coracles would have been built with willow or withy, flexible small wood. They would have been stuck in the ground in the shape of the coracle, bent over, woven together, and then weaving on the edges here on the gunnel. This is the same idea, but a bit more modern design. I've used ash, sawn ash, which is a very flexible wood to begin with, and where I had the hard curves on the sides, I had to put a little steam on it. So I steamed it a little bit. That allowed the ash to bend really nicely.
But pretty normal workshop tools.
Yeah.
Nothing particularly fancy.
No, there's the only fastenings on this are the nails on the outer gunnel, and there's a couple screws holding the seat posts to the seat posts underneath it. Everything else is woven, which that held it together, and then I clamped and glued the ribs where they come up. Those are just clamped and glued. And then at the very end, I went through, when I put this last piece on here, I clench nailed all the way around through that.
Now
But the nails they're not really holding it together. It's the weave that's holding it together.
Very cool. So it's all under tension. And
Correct, right. Yep.
all right. When you stretched the canvas over it, I see. Did you sew it? Did you stretch it and form it and
Well,
sew it?
when you roll the canvas, it's a round shape, so square canvas, you're going to have pleats. So you make the pleats, and then you sew just a whip stitch, just to make a better the outer edge is a more fair design. If you left those pleats, would have been a place for water to get in, would have been hard to seal it up.
And
so I sewed that.
Your last step then would have been to seal it up with but the sealant that you've used on each of these.
It's a little bit. They're both tar, and there again, that's so late 18th century, or late 19th century, early 20th century. This is what they used. They used canvas and tar. Medievally, it would have been hide and fat, animal fat, or tallow, something else to make it waterproof.
That would have been a lot more work.
A lot more work, right? And stink. So, so this tar, it's basically like roofing tar or foundation tar. This was a pretty thick stuff. The compound here is a little bit thinner. It's tar as well, but it's a little bit thinner, easier to apply.
But it's still stuff you can find at Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah,
so.
totally. I bought it from Lowe's. You could actually use paint. A good waterproof paint, oil-based paint would work as well.
Do you think this is an approachable project for
Totally
just about
average
anybody?
person could do. Their design are a little bit different. The research that I've done, every river system in England, the coracle was a little bit different. So, and even in that one river system, one guy builds them slightly different than another. I mean, it's form and function. It doesn't need. There's no perfection. You know what I mean? So it's just you build it and how it turns out.
Once you've got the function, you can bling it up. So,
Right.
like we could put like naked lady on the front or dragon head.
But they are a lot of fun. I will say, I've had a lot of fun with them. In the short time we just made them for this event, and
Now function-wise, you just use the one paddle. It's not a rowboat.
right.
It's not quite as slick as a canoe.
No,
So
it's-
there's there's like a
Sculling stroke.
there's a stroke that
Right,
it's
so
very
you
particular.
pull. So you're pulling water this way, then this way to propel yourself forward. or you could do it the same stroke to the side. The guys that would net with them would have been doing that. We'd have a net between us. We'd each be holding a net strung out, and they'd be sculling slowly. But like I said, they're mostly used in rivers, so you're not going to go from A to B. You're going down a river system. You're just kind of moving yourself around on that river
avoiding
system.
the rocks
Right,
and
right.
whatnot. Oh, very good. All right. Well, look, I think these are just fantastic. We're going to go to some footage so that you guys can see these in action now. I hope you really enjoyed this and you've learned something. And I mean, this just goes to show, like, this guy didn't learn this from anybody.
No, just did it.
Pick up some books, read a little bit, and then just go into your workshop and give it a try. All right, let's see these float. Hey, good morning. I'm afraid that yesterday I was remiss in doing any filming whatsoever, so I have a bit of catch up to do. Not a lot happened yesterday, just a lot of crude jokes by the campfire, keeping the fire going, stew, the perpetual stew, which I'll show you in a minute. But I did make something. You guys will like this. I'll get some better pictures of it up on Instagram. Look, I took a basket weaving class with a local guy, and in about 2 hours, I whipped this thing together. I had some leather lacing with me, and I decided to use that on the top. I put some pretty colors in it. It has a nice open bottom, and I left this loop when I was finishing up the top. I left this loop up because I thought this would make a really great mushroom basket. A lot of mushroomers say that if you're going to go out and collect, you should use something that's open so that when you walk through the forest, the spores from the mushrooms you've collected will drop and land in the ground, and you'll perpetuate the species and maybe enrich your mushroom areas. And then drinking happened, of course, and that was that. Now we're gonna start packing up camp, and we have a big long drive back to Canada. I will do a recap then, maybe of some things, do a little end piece. But I mean, it's impossible for me to show you everything that happens on a medieval camping weekend. You didn't see archery, you didn't see thrown weapons, you didn't see fencing, you didn't see the court of the foresters group, you didn't see the court of the barony that this campout is in, and there are so many other skills. There were classes all weekend. There was a leatherworking class. Some friends in the next camp over did a cooking class that taught 1st or 2nd century Roman food and provided a complete meal. And I had to miss that because I was doing the coracles at the time. But I think you get the idea. I like to tell people that the Society for Creative Anachronism, is kind of the hobby of 100 hobbies. And I'll bring you out again. Not for a while. Camping season is pretty much coming to a close now. Perhaps I'll bring you along in February if I go to an event then, but our camping season should open up again in May, and we'll do a couple of events, and maybe I'll take you on a few small, a smaller outing. We'll do like a 2 or 3 day canoe trip with some buddies or something in our garb and with our primitive tools. It really presents a nice challenge. Really pushes the limits of your skills, and yeah. So I'll do a little bit on our stew that kept us fed all weekend. Literally started at Friday, and now it's Monday morning, and there's probably still stew in the pot. I guess we'll go take a peek. All right, here's our Dutch oven. We brought 2 cast iron Dutch ovens for cooking, one for pie and one for stew. And you can see, even on the morning of the last day, there's still stew left. We started out with cubed pork leeks, you know, some broth and spices, and some mushrooms and some barley. And the next day, after my friends finished their Roman cooking class, we were able to get some leftover beef from them, and that went in. Some cabbage, that went in. At the end of Saturday night, there was a potluck, so we borrowed some crusty bread and some chicken breast. Brought that back to camp and put that in, and just kept building it up. So you never know. I mean, I guess one of the first things to go in was a mushroom. And if you look, I don't know if, I guess if you found a mushroom in the stew at this point, you'd be pretty lucky. Someone yesterday was having a bowl, and they were like, oh, a carrot. And everybody looked at each other and were like, I don't remember putting a carrot in. Oh yeah, and there's sausage in there now because, yeah, so Saturday night was the chicken, and then the next morning we started heating it up again, and we were really scrounging at that point, so it was, I think, some more crust of bread, some sausage, a handful of dried cranberries, kind of anything anybody had left over. But it has just been getting more and more delicious every day, and kept a camp of 5 or 6 fed, plus the occasional guest, so it really can't be beat. I think our car is here, so I gotta start loading up my tent, but hope I'll see you in a recap. Hang on tight. Thought I'd just do a quick shot of this to show you how minimalist medieval camping is. Yeah, not exactly the kind of camp out you do from a backpack. Some of it a bit unnecessary, but I don't think there was a lot that I brought that I wouldn't want to bring again, at least to this kind of event. All right, see you again soon.